Good morning, one and all. Today we are going to start with the menstruation cycle after the female reproductive system. So, in the menstrual cycle, in the menstrual cycle, so please have a look to this particular this diagrammatic representation once. Okay, please try to understand this diagrammatic representation, and this is the cycle called as menstrual cycle. Already you know that cycle means repeating the process in a step by step and start again coming to the back original position, again repeat. Means cyclic process is a process which is repeated many times in an organism. The cyclic process is a process which is repeated many times in an organism by step. That is water cycle. If you take, first water will be evaporated, then that forms the clouds. Clouds will form the rain. Rain will come onto the earth. It will again evaporate. So this is called a cyclic process. Likewise, menstrual cycle is a cyclic process occurring in the female reproductive female organisms. That is a cyclic process which is repeated one after the other in a regular intervals. So here cyclic process, mensun is an Arabic word which is indicating month. So menstrual cycle means monthly cycle, means it happens every month in an organism. Every month it will be repeated in the organism. So that is called as menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, and this menstrual cycle will take place in the primates. Already I have discussed that it happens in the primates. Menstrual cycle happens in the primates and it happens in the monkeys. It happens in the primates like monkeys, apes and human beings. So it is a cyclic process. It happens in this. Monsoon means month. According to the Kannada calendar or Indian calendar, you can see that month means 28 days or 29 days. Month means 28 days or 29 days. That is based on the moon movement. So this is also called as lunar rhythm. So it is menstruation cycle in the females is also as per the lunar rhythm. How the lunar rhythm occurs, that is Amavasya to Paurnami, Paurnami to Amavasya, again Amavasya followed by Paurnami, Paurnami followed by Amavasya. The same way this menstruation cycle also is repeated every month. So it happens in the primates, and this menstruation cycle takes place in four different phases. That is, okay, first 1 to 5, 3 or 5 days. 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 days. So this is called as menstruation. That is menses, the flow of blood along with the endometrial lining out of the female vagina is called as menstruation. The flow of the endometrial lining, some amount of blood as well as the degenerated ovum from 1 to 3 days or 1 to 5 days based on the health condition of the female. So the menstruation occurs, and 1 to 5 days is called as menstruation. And from the 5th day to 13th day, the phase is called as follicular phase or proliferative phase. Proliferation means growing in size, growing in size. So the phase is also called as proliferative phase or follicular phase because here the secondary oocyte with the secondary ovum, which is going to be matured, will be developing from these in the follicular phase under the hormonal secretions. So this is called as the follicle is growing, it is called as follicular phase, or as the follicle is proliferating or increasing in size, it is also called as proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. And 13 to 15 or 14th day is called as ovulation. Thirteenth to 15th day or 14th day is called as ovulation, and from the 15th day to 28th day or 29th day is called as luteal phase or secretory phase. So first one, 1 to 5 menstruation, 5 to 13 or 6 to 13 follicular phase, 13 to 15 and including 14th day is called ovulation, and 16th to 28th day is called as luteal phase or secretory phase. Luteal phase are, so how many phases? Menstruation cycle occurs in 4 different phases. First one, 1 to 3 days. Menstruation. Here, so you are seeing that 4 phases. Okay, 1 to 3 menstruation, 1 to 3 days menstruation, that is menstrual flow, that is blood, endometrial lining and degenerated ovum or corpus albicans. Along with that, certain amount of other dead cells. And the next, the 4th day to 13th day or 5th day to 13th day is called follicular phase, also called as proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. And third, the 13th, that is the 14th day and 15th day or 13th day end to the 15th day. These, okay, which 14th day is most important. These 3 days is called as ovulation day or exactly the 14th day is called as ovulation day or LH surge day. LH surge day, and the next days after the ovulation, that is up to the 28th or 29th day, is called as luteal phase or secretory phase. Secretory phase. In these particular phases, what happens? So here we are seeing in this diagrammatic representation 4 important things happening. One in the pituitary hormonal level, one the ovary level, and the third one ovary hormonal level, and the fourth one uterine level. So here 4 things are happening in the female reproductive system concerned to the brain, the pituitary gland of the female. One is pituitary hormonal level, the second one ovarian events, the third ovarian hormonal levels, the fourth one uterine level. So ovary and ovarian hormone are concerned to the ovary and their releasing, and uterine changes are concerned with the uterus of the female, and pituitary hormones with the pituitary as well as which are acting on the ovary as the uterine. And whatever you are seeing on this x-axis is called as the days. That is, you can see that here 1 to 28 days. Already we have discussed that in menstruation cycle there will be 1 to 28 days or 29 days. That is also equivalent to lunar rhythm. Lunar rhythm means moon cycle. In the similar way, so your first 1 to 5 days or 3 days, what is happening? In the first 1 to 5 days, so you are seeing that endometrial changes takes place. Endometrial changes takes place, and the degenerated corpus albicans, that is degenerated ovum, which is not fertilized, will be added to that endometrial lining. Apart from this, addition to this, you can also see that the flow of blood which is concerned with the endometrial, the third layer of the female reproductive system, takes place. So here in the first 1 to 3 days, blood plus endometrial lining plus corpus albicans, that is regressed ovum, and this all come out. Okay, from 1 to 3 or 5 days, the blood vessels which are supplying the blood to the endometrium and the endometrial lining of the female reproductive system, which has been degenerating, and the corpus albicans, that is degenerated ovum or regressed ovum, including that some dead cells will come out from the female vagina by shedding off. So this is an indication that the female is having the normal reproductive cycle. Normal reproductive cycle. And from the next days, that is 4th day to 5th day up to 13 days. What happens in this? Here we can see that in this particular phase, 5th to 13th day, 5th to 13th day or 4th to 13th day, you can see that the endometrial lining is growing on continuously. Endometrial lining. endometrial lining on the either side of the uterus is growing on. At the same time, and while the ovum, that is the secondary oocyte, tertiary follicle with antrum condition and which has embedded with the secondary oocyte in them, will be under the pituitary hormonal level, that is FSH and LH. FSH means follicle stimulating hormone and LH means luteinizing hormone. FSH means follicle stimulating hormone. LH means luteinizing hormone, FSH means follicle stimulating hormone. So LH, FSH at the first day it has been high and the luteinizing hormones are less. But when you constantly see during the follicular phase the FSH stimulation has decreased and the LH levels has been increased. So here the changes in the pituitary are FSH, which was primarily high, will be comparatively less or slowing down. At the same time, LH luteinizing hormone levels have been started increasing, which is affecting on the ovary. So the FSH initiates the process of follicle development and the luteinizing hormone promotes the process of ovarian hormone, that is ovarian development, that is the development of the ovum, the development of the ovum into Grapharian follicle, the development of the follicle into Grapharian follicle, that is which is near to the process of ovulation. So in this process, FSH initiates the follicle development. Once the follicle development, one of the differentiated follicle is identified, the LH takes control of these ovaries and they start growing. And at the same time, when these are acting on the ovary and the uterine system, that is the uterus, at the same time, you can see that the progesterone levels, estrogen level, which is produced by the developing follicle, have been at its peak level, and slowly the progesterone also is maintained. The progesterone is also maintained, and the estrogen levels are high. Progesterone levels are high, estrogen is more produced from the day 5th to 13th. At the same time, endometrial, which is under the control of LSH and FS, will also start slowly. Whichever has regressed or degenerated, they slowly start growing once again. And from the 13th day to 15th day or the 14th day, you can see that the LH hormone attains its peak level, the FSH hormone attains its peak level, and the Grapharian follicle, which is already well developed, that also starts slowly busting out. bursting out. At the same time, you can see that the outer layer of the Grapharian follicle, will be present, and this convert into a yellow colored body called as corpus luteum. And the ovum is released along with formation of one more layer called as zona pellucida. And you can see that the outer layers of the cells called as corona penetrating cells, corona radiating cells are also present, and the corpus, the outer membrane of that secondary oocyte is present. This changes into the corpus luteum, and at the same time on the 14th day you can see that under the LH hormone influence the ovulation takes place. That is the releasing of secondary oocyte after maturation from the Grapharian follicle. The releasing of the ovum, matured ovum from the Grapharian follicle by rupturing is called as ovulation. So here the ovum starts moving from the infundibulum to the through fimbriae into the infundibulum into the ampulla to the isthmus to the uterus. So this movement starts once the releasing takes place and starts moving towards the infundibulum to the ampulla to the isthmus to the uterus. So while this ovulation is completed, the outer membrane of the ovule, which is being already coming along with the ovum, is changing from the Grapharian follicle, that is ruptured Grapharian follicle is called corpus luteum. Ruptured Grapharian follicle is called corpus luteum. That corpus luteum is converting into yellow colored body called as corpus luteum. So this corpus luteum slowly from the day 15th to 28th or 29th day, it will be regressing. Means the shape, the length of that will be slowly from the bigger side to smaller side. That is, it is been regressing or it has been shrinking. As a result of this shrinkage, you can see that it has been undergoing the regression, and the regressed corpus luteum is called as corpus albicans. The regressed corpus luteum is called as corpus albicans, and at the same time from the 14th day you can see that the estrogen levels have been decreased comparatively, and as the ovum is released, this ovum starts secreting more progesterone. So ovum is called as a temporary endocrine gland. Ovum is called as temporary endocrine gland. Ovum is called as a temporary endocrine gland. This is the most important need question, and the progesterone levels are in high level, and this progesterone level, increasing of the progesterone level is suitable for the implantation of blastocyst if pregnancy occurs. That is, zygote formation occurs, then blastocyst occurs, the maintenance of the progesterone is mandatory. And if the corpus luteum is regressing, the estrogen levels will decrease, the progesterone levels will increase because of the ovum releasing the progesterone, and if the fertilization has to occur, the fertilization will occur in the ampullary isthmic junction. Ampullary isthmic junction. If fertilization occurs, no menstruation occurs. That is, next menstruation cycle stopped. And if no fertilization, next menstruation occurs. So the occurrence of regular menstrual cycles is an indication that female is healthy, and non-occurrence of this can be pregnancy or because of the poor health or the stress condition in the female or hormonal changes. So non-occurrence of menstruation is an indication that either pregnancy can occur or it is a fact that poor health or stress or ovarian or hormonal changes in the case of females is not proper. And as we are discussing that the 15th day to the 28th day, it is called as a luteal phase. That is, the luteinizing hormones level maintained, as in this time only the secretion, the endometrial lining attains its maximum level, so it is also called as secretory phase. This endometrial maximum size increases because in order to make the fertilized ovum implant suitably, this is done. So here the first menarche, the after puberty, is called the first menstruation cycle. First menstruation cycle is called menarche. Menarche means the first menstruation cycle, and last menstruation cycle after which no menstruation occurs, menophase. Phase means stop, meno means menstruation cycle stoppage. After, so the time period between the first menarche to the last menophase, between that, per every month in the healthy female, every month one menstruation cycle takes place, and temporary stoppage of menstruation happens only in the case of pregnancy. Temporary stoppage of menstruation cycle in the females, healthy females, is only during the pregnancy. And the other reasons for the menstruation cycle stoppage is poor health, stress, and hormonal imbalance. Once again, check this and try to understand. Still any doubts, we will discuss in the next class.